Isaiah is on male birth control.
That's right, and it works. It's experimental, so I do get paid like $100 a visit, so that's kind of tight.
Are you doing anything else for work, or is your full-time job testing this male birth control?
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Doing pretty well.
All right. Isaiah, 22 years old, in Utah, is on experimental male birth control. How is that going?
That's right. So it's pretty good, especially compared to like female birth control, and it's experimental, so I do get paid like $100 a visit, so that's kind of tight, and it works. I've been doing it since probably August or September of last year. It didn't like start working until probably January or February of this year, but the way that it works is that every morning I just put this alcohol-based gel on my shoulders, and that's supposed to decrease my sperm count to under 1 million, I guess is the threshold, while also giving me like testosterone to like resupplement it. But it do be making me a little hormonal, can't even lie, but it's far less invasive than an IUD or anything like that. So yeah, can't really complain. It's kind of tight.
How does the gel get from your shoulder to your balls?
Yeah, that's a pretty good question. I also wonder about like placement of it, because it kind of goes on my shoulders and my chest. But I guess it's just a good spot to lower that testosterone or something. I don't know. They don't really tell me much about how it works. They're just like, here's what your blood looks like, blood levels, and your sperm count's going down. So once a month I bring in a sample, as well as they take my blood and like vitals and just make sure that I'm stable.
Now, do you know if this has any long-term effects?
No, I think that like fingers crossed that it doesn't. I've actually talked to them because I've noticed kind of the main thing that they said going into it was that the one negative side effect that they've noticed is that it does make the patients that are on it much more prone to like irritability or frustration. And I was like, that's not really going to happen to me because I'm a chill dude. I'm not like that. I'm super chill. But I kind of noticed recently, very retrospectively, that it has definitely had that effect. I'm like a dog person in general, but this whole year, anytime a dog hops up on me, I like freak out, like yell at the dog. And so I just get frustrated by little things that I don't normally get frustrated by. But I've actually talked to the doctor about that, and they've said that sort of the first thing to come back to normal will be my hormones when I do stop taking it. And then eventually the very last thing that's going to turn back on is my sperm's ability to create sperm. So it's kind of tight too, because if I don't take it for like a day, it's not like I'm all of a sudden going to be producing sperm again. It takes like a week to reset. So it is kind of a good option once it does hit the markets for someone who's not looking to have kids for, like in their 20s or something. They can just put that on every day and keep it moving.
How much are they paying you for this?
I think that collectively it's going to be like maybe shy of like $3,000. It's like $100 a visit. And actually during a big section of the part before I started the efficacy process, right? Because before it works, before your sperm count's below that, you got to wear a condom, use other forms of birth control. But before that, there was this, they would have you use this at-home vasectomy kit, like tester, where you would actually almost like test your own semen samples to see what they showed results on. And then I was getting like 125 when I was using that. But now that I'm in this efficacy process, it's just like, okay, you get 100, we take your blood, we take, a sample of your semen, and you go home. Like, so yeah, it's not bad money.
Do you have a partner?
I do, yeah. That was like a big part of it. You had to be in like a monogamous relationship for, I think I said something like 2 years when he signed up. So yeah.
And how's she feel about the whole thing?
At first she was really stressed out about it, kind of understandably. Like she was down with it because she's had pretty bad experiences with birth control. But once we started this efficacy process where I'm not allowed to use a condom, that's like stressful as fuck. but she's actually, I think she's into it. She's also just like happy that she doesn't have to, be with someone who like almost like forces them to be put onto birth control, right? As women often find themselves being, or like, if a condom breaks, she doesn't have to deal with like Plan B or whatever. So she's come around for sure. But it was stressful for the both of us at first because like they say it works, but does it actually work?
Is she happy that like she doesn't have to be on birth control because you're on birth control?
Yeah, exactly. And we're both pretty like, I don't know, big feminists. So it's kind of like cool to be part of this process because in general, healthcare for women is pretty rough. So to be part of this like trial process for male birth control, which we should have had ages ago, is kind of cool. She actually wishes it was more invasive though. She wished that they like had to like put a shot in my dick every month or something, just like even the playing field, because like getting an IUD is horrific and I don't know. So there's that part of her that's like, it could be worse. And that would maybe make her a little happy just as far as, the status quo.
Would you do it if they had to take a shot in your dick hole?
I would try it, I think. Like, yeah, I think I'd do it for science. It's easy to say that now, though. It's like, if I saw the needle, right? Can't, yeah, you know what I mean? I'd try it once, probably. If it was, like, awful, I might not keep coming back.
Have there been any like negative side effects that like that you said the irritability was one, and then anything else besides the irritability?
Actually, I do think that my sex drive is like up, which is wild because I'm also like a 22-year-old boy, man, whatever you want to call me. So it's not like I had a problem with that before, but yeah, I do think that I'm like hornier than I should be, which is saying a lot. Maybe we all feel that way, but I feel like it's extra.
Do you want to have a child one day?
No, actually. This thing's been nice because it has sort of like cemented in my mind that as soon as I'm off of it, I'd actually just like to get a vasectomy if I can find a doctor who will do it. So it's kind of like vasectomy light.
Now, are you doing anything else for work, or is your full-time job testing this male birth control?
No, I do have a full-time job, so this is just like a side hustle. It's nice. I, get $100 once a month so I can like buy video games or take my girlfriend out to a nice dinner. But it's definitely just like supplementary income, and I don't do anything serious with it. It's like, I think of it like free money.
What's your job?
I work at tech support for like a cell company.
What's a cell company?
So it's like kind of like a call center job, but it's like hybrid. So I work from home, but troubleshoot technology with people.
Are you tech support for a sperm cell company? Like some sperm cell is like, hey, I'm trying to get this egg pregnant, but there's some gel in my way.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that. I'd suggest turning it off and back on again, and that's about as much as I can do.
That wasn't funny, but I tried to be funny. What's your dream in life, Isaiah?
I do stand-up comedy, so it'd be fun to actually like go on a tour with someone. Thank you for that. That was good. So yeah, probably that. I do a lot of writing in my free time.
How long have you been doing stand-up for?
This is I'm going into my I think I just started. No, I just finished my 4th year, so going into like my 5th.
Okay. Yeah, you're in Utah. I was at Wise Guys. You ever been to Wise Guys?
Yeah, you were. No, I have been there. I got to host for like nationally touring comedian there not too long ago, but I don't get like super regular gigs. You were here in Utah. It's kind of weird. It's a weird comedy scene. It's a weird scene in general. So who was the comedian? But he did start out in Chicago. His name is Jeffrey Osmus. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, I want to say he did stand-up comedy in my basement at some point, but I don't know if
really. That's so cool.
I know
it is. No, he's really funny.
I know. I don't. Have I met him before? I know exactly who that is, but I I don't know
Okay,
why.
nice.
I don't know if it's because I met him or if
You
I
just know so many
saw him on
comedians.
Facebook or something. Yeah, yeah. Well, shit, man. Hey, you can open for me if
Well, that's rad.
if I ever come to Wise Guys.
Oh, please, I'll take you up on that for sure.
Okay, you have to remind me. Send me a DM, and if I remember
Hey,
next time,
I'll say I'm the male birth control guy.
Okay, yeah. So you're the male birth control guy, and you got the gig.
Okay, perfect.
Message me. Message if I announce if I'm announcing a tour to Utah next year. You let me know. I'll let you open for me.
Please, yes, I'm there.
I had my boy Ryan the leader open for me last time I was there, and he's pretty sweet too.
Oh, very nice.
Um,
Yeah, I heard the show was awesome. I ended up getting stuck at work that night, but like my friends went and had a really good time. So
you had a lot of gel.
I'm sure you'll sell it out again.
What do you do stand-up comedy about?
Well, I grew up here in Utah, so sort of like a large percentage of it is sort of like Utah-based. Like, I actually grew up in Provo, which is like the most kind of Mormon city in Utah. So it's a lot of that. But then I'm also Polynesian, so I do jokes about being like Hawaiian and Tongan, and then just kind of like dumb, like dark humor about like my dog dying and shit like that. So, well, I try to touch a few bases, you know.
What's your take on Polynesian sauce?
Polynesian sauce, it's good. I like it. It's not honestly like teriyaki sauce is probably one that you might find more in like actual like Polynesian restaurants, but it's kind of like Hawaiian pizza. Like that was like made in Canada, but I still like Hawaiian pizza. So,
dude, can I tell you something? When you said just now that you were Polynesian, that's the first time I've ever heard the word Polynesian used outside of
not
the
in reference to a sauce
of Polynesian sauce. Like, I didn't know that Polynesia was. I thought it was. I swear, I'm being 100% serious with you. I thought it just was a sauce. Where is Polynesia?
Well, Polynesia refers to like a lot of like Pacific islands. So it's like, if you're Polynesian, you could be like Fijian, Tongan, Samoan. I think they consider like Maoris in New Zealand Polynesian. So it's sort of like Asians can be from a bunch of different countries. Polynesians are like Pacific Islanders.
Oh, okay.
Interestingly, I grew up saying like, "Oh, I'm poly" to refer to being Polynesian, but now if you say you're poly, people think that you're like polyamorous. Leads to a lot of confusion. So you got to say the full thing these days. What's that?
Is that a bit that you do?
It is a bit that I do. Yep, but it's like new. It was a problem before it was a bit. But now it's a bit.
I like that. That's a good bit. Do that one when you open for me.
Please, yes, I'd love to.
Well, hey, now with the male birth control, now's a great time to be poly and poly.
Yeah, it really does work out both ways. I think I'm pretty monogamous, but I've heard good things.
Isaiah, is there anything else you want to say to the people at the computer before we go?
I mean, look into male birth control near you. You might save the woman in your life a lot of grief. And we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for your time, Geck.
Before we go, what is the Polynesian sauce like in Polynesia?
I think it's a lot of like teriyaki sauce. They actually even call it like terry sauce for short. There's like burgers in Hawaii. Have you been to Hawaii, or you're going to Hawaii soon? Maybe.
I have a flight to Hawaii tomorrow.
Okay, incredible. So if you've never tried this, definitely try Loco Moco when you're in Hawaii. It's a Hawaiian burger that's like a beef patty on rice over like gravy. There's like gravy over it, and then you have like a egg on top. That's like that's pretty that's like a Hawaiian burger. Like a lot of people think of like a Hawaiian burger as having pineapple on it, but Loco Moco all the way.
That sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's good stuff. You'll like it.
Thanks for calling, Isaiah.
Yeah, have a good one. Safe travels.
Crap, I had a thought that I was going to say, but I was going to wait until Isaiah was off the phone. What did it had something? It had something to do with either Polynesian sauce or birth control. I forget. I'm just gonna not say it. But let's include this in the podcast. Still, let's include this afterthought that I forgot.
Call from.
Hello.
Oh my God, I got on. How's it going?
It's going good, man. How are you?
I'm good. This is my first time calling in. Actually, the first time that I called, I didn't realize that there was like a voicemail thing, so you might have just a strange message after this.
What's up, man? What do you want to talk about today?
So kind of have a interesting situation going on in my life right now involving my roommate, my girlfriend, and one of her friends. So my girlfriend's friend and my roommate had a thing for a while, and around the time of her birthday, she lives in a different town. She came to the town where my girlfriend and my roommate live. And when she got here, they were talking about potentially like hooking up and stuff, and my roommate was just really like head over heels for this girl. And we ended up going out for drinks for the first night of the weekend, and it was all great. And then eventually what happened was that after we got back to my house, and I dropped my girlfriend and her friend off back at my girlfriend's house, he was texting me saying like, oh, she like really wants me to like come over, like what should I do? And I was like, you know how mad my girlfriend would be if you went over to her house at 3 a.m. and had sex with her friend on her couch? Yeah, no, you're just wait till tomorrow, dude. What he didn't know was that my girlfriend and I were, after he went to bed, we're going to hook up with her friend afterwards. And after it was all said and done, her friend was like, yeah, I don't really want to like pursue a relationship with this guy. And long story short, she ended up cutting it off from him, and he was heartbroken. And now whenever she like comes around to like visit my girlfriend,
actually no, you know what, you go ahead finish. I'll save my questions to the end.
Yeah, so whenever she like comes around to visit my girlfriend, or she ever gets brought up in the conversation, he just like tries to shut it down immediately, and he gets all sad and shit. And I really feel like I kind of ruined his chances with this girl, and I know that it probably wasn't much, but
okay, I'm gonna cut in with my questions now. First of all, okay. I want to congratulate you on having so many friends that I've lost track of all the different friends that you have in this story. But
okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's a good thing. I promise. Okay. If I understand this correctly, your friend had a big old crush on your girlfriend's friend, and they hadn't correct. Done any. There was just a crush. There was no real thing between them. Correct.
There was talk that they were going to do stuff, but
there was they didn't. Okay. But okay, your friend had a crush on your girlfriend's friend, and one night texts your girlfriend's friend to see if he could come over. Yep. That doesn't work out, and on that very same night, you and your girlfriend go to her house to have a threesome with her.
Yes, that is correct.
Wow, that's wild. That is that is very wild. Did you ever talk to your friend? Your friend has no idea that you had a threesome with your girlfriend and this girl.
He has no idea.
Oh my god.
Nope.
Did you feel bad at all? Did you feel like, were you morally conflicted?
Well, in the moment I was like, this is in the moment I was
in the moment you were like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Sure.
But after it was all said and done, he like didn't come out of his room for like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I just I felt real bad, and there was like a moment in time where I was going to tell him, but it's been continuing to happen.
This man would be wait, it's been continuing to like you've done this with, you guys have had this threesome multiple times.
Yes.
This man would be shattered if he knew what was going on.
Yeah, I know. And to top all this off, he's my boss at work. Like, I'm not joking. Like,
You're not joking? You're not fucking with me?
I'd get fired. No, I am not joking with you, and I'm afraid that if he does find out, I'll get like fired, and it would just make the whole living situation really awkward.
Come on. All right. What do you do for work?
I work at a local sandwich shop.
He's your boss at the sandwich shop. What is it, a Subway, or is it like a local sandwich shop?
It is a Herberts and Gerberts.
What is that?
It's like a sandwich shop. I'm in Wisconsin right now, and that's
Okay.
a delivery sandwich place.
Sounds Wisconsin. Were you guys friends
Yeah.
before you started working together? Have you been friends for a long time?
Yeah, we've been friends for like 4 or 5 years or so.
Okay. Now, in those 4 or 5 years, your understanding of his friend, how have his relationships been over the course of 5 years? Is this like kind of is this like a recurring thing in his life that he's like I guess romantic rejection?
Yeah, no, he just hasn't had the greatest luck. He kind of just gets really like invested into people, and I mean, like, it's great. Like, if you're gonna love hard, but he ends up getting hurt. But I've just never seen him like that before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you think and now your friend's feelings for this, your girlfriend's friend, were they purely lustful, or was there, a little more to that?
I mean, we live like 4 hours away from her, so I think in the back of his head he was like, yeah, I know this would never work, but I think he really, really wanted it to, which would explain the reaction after she texted him when she went back home and was like, yeah, I'm not looking for anything.
Man. So you and your girlfriend drove the 4 hours?
It's kind of just been like, well, my girlfriend has later moved since this moment. She's kind of like in between me and her friend now, so we kind of just end up meeting at her place now. This hasn't happened in like months because I just kind of felt guilty about it. Not even kind of, I do feel guilty about it.
Oh man, dude, I don't know. I don't know. Cause you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna sit here, and I'm sure there's plenty of other people listening to this. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I wouldn't have done the same thing.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, it makes me feel a little better, but like,
well,
damn.
I don't think it. Because I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to lie to you and tell you I wouldn't have done the same thing. Because it's not like here's the thing. It'd be one thing if this was like your friend's like ex, or like obviously it'd be a thing if it was your friend's girlfriend, but like I don't know, man. Tell me more about your relationship with this guy, with your friend.
So me and him moved in together into a house like 2 years ago, and sorry. we've we've been good friends, but ever since this moment, I feel like it's just been kind of difficult to like talk to him because he's also just been really stressed with like work lately, and coming home and the only thing that he can really talk about is work is just like I'd really rather not talk to you then. But I feel like there's
Can I ask how old you are?
I am 24.
How old's he?
He is 25.
All right. What's his because it sounds like homie, like he's got a kind of a general malaise going on, or depression, or something. It's not just this thing. He likes a girl and the girl doesn't like him back. Like there's something. Is that accurate?
Yeah. I mean, there always kind of seems to be something with him. So I try to like, I don't know. I've tried to help in the past and tried to get him to like open up, but again, it's just a lot about work. And I mean, he's tried dating since then, but it just has not gone well.
I'm trying to think if you want to help your friend, because like, here's the thing: if that girl didn't like your friend, there was nothing you could have done to help. But like, I don't know, could you and your friend like? Why do you look? You sound like you're probably a handsome guy, you know.
Thank you.
You got stuff going on. What and you know your friend intimately. What do you think it is about him that made that girl not like him, or what do you think it is that has made him, you know, romantically unsuccessful, or like what like in your opinion, what do you think is holding him back?
I mean, I really don't mean to like kind of bash this guy now, but he's a little weird, and he's like really stinky and doesn't have the greatest hygiene. Like there was one night where me and him went out to get drinks, and I had to drive him home, and I made like a little puke bucket for him, and that puke bucket proceeded to sit in his room for the next 2 months without being emptied. It got to the point where like you couldn't even.
I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I wouldn't do the same as well with that.
Yeah, I mean, it literally got to the point where like
with your friend as well.
It literally got to the point where like I couldn't. So we live on opposite floors. I live on the main floor. He lives upstairs, and I genuinely couldn't like walk past the stairs because of how bad that entire floor smelled, purely because of his room.
Man, I don't know, man. This is tough. This is tough because I don't know how you could help your friends. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you could help him.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
is
like
is it a bad idea to tell him? I don't know.
Personally, I
that's
don't think it would end well if I did tell him.
No, I'm not even talking about telling him about. No, dude, I don't know. I sort of think ignorance is bliss with that. I'm trying to think if I were in the friend's position, and I don't think I would want to know. I think there are some cases where ignorance is just bliss. But I'm trying to think of how you could, I don't know, just in general, help your friend. It's hard because you don't want to just be like giving him unsolicited advice.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of the ways that it does help is just kind of like just being a friend to him, and overall just kind of being there to listen to him, kind of giving him a shoulder to cry on. I mean, that helps for the moment, but I mean, usually by the next day, he's kind of back in that same spot.
Are you going to continue to hook up with this girl with your girlfriend?
Her and I have talked about it, and I mean, she knows how I feel about it, and she kind of has her uncertainties too. So, I think we're both kind of in the same boat of if the stars align and us three are together again and it happens, great. If not, that's not going to be something that we're like actively pushing for or being like, oh, when is this going to happen again? Like, no.
Dude, what if you guys had a threesome in the sandwich shop?
Oh man, there have been things that have happened in like the store that aren't far from that, but
like what?
I won't go into that.
Like what?
There's just been like some crazy things that have happened in the store. We had a coworker who had a baby not too long ago. And we found out that the baby was conceived like in the back room area. Like the mother and the father had sex in the back of the store. They both work at the store, so it wasn't like, I mean, it's still weird, but like it'd be weird if just like two random people like came into the back of the store. I don't know how to explain this.
It's really unfortunate because I feel as though being conceived in a Wisconsin sandwich shop probably dooms a baby.
Yeah, she
what's your name again, sir? Well, good luck. GLHF, my friend. Is there anything else you want to say to the people of the computer before we go?
This is feels good to get this off my chest, and yeah, at the end of the day, I really just wish the best for my friend. That's, I guess, all I gotta say.
Never let him listen to this podcast.
Oh, absolutely not. He knows nothing about this.
Okay, you have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Wait, what's the name of the sandwich shop again?
Herbert's and Gerbert's.
Herbert's? Is that a chain?
Yeah, it's a chain.
Oh, okay. Because I thought, because then people would be like, I'm trying to. Do you think? Wait, did you can give me your real name? Did you?
No.
Okay. All right. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too, man.
Because I feel like somebody could just pinpoint how many Herberts and Gerberts are there in Wisconsin. Let's see here. Hold on. Herbert. Oh, okay. This is like I honestly thought he was making it up. Herberts and Gerberts. All right. There's. I don't know why I'm giving instructions on how to dox this guy because I don't want that to happen. We'll bleep his name out. Herberts and Gerberts is a restaurant franchise specializing in submarine sandwiches. The company the company has more than 50 locations throughout Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Wisconsin. They have only one in North Carolina. So if the caller was from North Carolina, he'd be easy to find. Don't dox the people on this show. All right. What kind of, let me go to their website. What's going on herbertsandgerberts.com? Oh, they got a turkey bacon ranch. They got a little cartoon drawing of an alien eating a sandwich. I like that. I'm gonna go, do they have any near me? Let me type in my zip code. Okay, I forgot. Wait, hold on. Damn, they don't have any Herberts and Gerberts near me. Wait, fuck, now people can dox me. Dude, shit, people who... Now people can find all the places in America that don't have Herberts and Gerberts, and they can do the reverse of what they would do to the caller, to me, and use the absence of Herberts and Gerberts to determine where I live. The internet is a dangerous place. Hello?
Hey there, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you, man?
Doing all right. I'm actually in the middle of actually just finishing up a big move. I just moved back to my hometown from a bigger city.
Is that an upgrade? Well, where is that in your life plan? Is that what you desired?
You know what? I didn't think it was, but it is. I'm moving back to my hometown, and just kind of growing up, I always thought I wanted to leave and do something else and be in a bigger city. But ever since I was there, I just wanted to come back home and be closer to family.
That's kind of the hero's journey, is you go out into a bigger city and you're like, all right, this place is cool. It has restaurants and bars. And then you realize that everywhere is really the same, and that the best place to be is where your friends and family are. As long as there are
Definitely.
also bars and restaurants there where you can get margarita pizza and shit. But where's your hometown?
I live about an hour north of Louisville, Kentucky.
I was in Louisville, Kentucky. That's a nice spot. I like Louisville.
It's bustling.
Are you living back with your parents, or did you get a place?
I got a place. So far it's been a lot nicer than my older place. The bigger cities have a lot higher rent, and I think that was a main decision-making factor. I actually lost a job that I moved to the bigger city for, and that's kind of the catalyst for the move back home.
What was the job that you had in the big city?
I worked for a major abortion provider, and it was really interesting, and I had a really intense time there, and I worked there for probably about 3 years. And at the end, I got a promotion, and that's why I had to move. And it turned out I did not like the added responsibility. So it didn't turn out very well for me.
Interesting. So what was it about the promotion or the added responsibility that made you want to leave?
I think it was kind of your peers turning into, like, you have this weird power dynamic with them, and you're kind of on one hand expected to, I guess, like, lay down the law without a better way to put that. And you don't want to be like a stern, don't be late kind of guy, and you have to be, and I don't like it.
You go from like actually doing something to managing other people doing stuff.
That's put perfectly. Absolutely. It's just kind of like watching it all unfold and being responsible for how it ends up.
You said here on the call screening notes that it was a toxic job. Why did you feel like it was toxic?
I'm sure a lot of people who work in like nonprofit organizations can relate to this. But I think a lot of times places like that kind of take advantage or prey upon your empathy or your support or compassion towards whatever mission you're working towards. And so they kind of just exploit that, as much as possible. Like, hey, if you miss this shift, like X, Y, and Z will happen to this many people. It's kind of one of those things.
Yeah. Was that tough working at the abortion clinic? It seems like there's a lot of emotions going on around there.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, it's crazy. You just see like this crazy, wild variety of emotions about it. So it's really like common to see just like a spectrum of different feelings around it. It's just really interesting to do it in such a hostile state. I actually got to do some training in the Washington state, and it was wild just how different things are laid out there than in a state like Kentucky or Indiana.
Wait, so the big city, where was the big city at?
Bloomington, where IU is.
I don't know what either of those things are.
That's all right. It's like a college town.
IU. Oh, Indiana University.
Indiana University.
Oh, okay. You go to IU, and next door you can get an IUD.
Exactly.
Where is okay? So, what are the abortion laws like in Indiana?
I'm actually kind of embarrassed to say that I'm out of touch with what's going on most recently. But I remember there was a really big push for everything to be completely, basically like Texas-style ban laws here. And that was, it's just so stressful because it goes back and forth with the courts and, staff and patients have to kind of bend over backwards for whatever happens, at the very last minute.
And is it like, because there are, I assume like planned, there are Planned Parenthoods in states where abortion is illegal, right?
I believe so, yes. And I think their focus right now is just to provide as much education as the law allows, and just encourage, safety.
So what are you going to do now that you don't work there?
I think I'm gonna be more in touch with my own feelings instead of, just kind of being like this empathy vacuum every day. I think it's been a really eye-opening experience for me to just kind of spend time alone and switch to like a work from home job. It's been awesome to just kind of like be with myself and see myself outside of a work environment.
I know it feels nice to work on yourself, right? Because you're having to comfort people all the time.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
That's a lot,
and just kind of you got to like kind of read the moment, read every single little moment, and interpret that on how to act next. It's really awesome, and I think the people who work in those situations are incredible people. Mm-hmm. I really loved it.
Mm-hmm. It's I mean, that's the thing is, say what you will about people who are assholes, but it sounds like such a nice life, a little bit, doesn't it? Not caring about anything or anyone at all.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been really weird. It's been really weird, and kind of feels like, like when you're in high school and you finally get the summer off or whatever, and you're just like, dang, what do I do? Because you're just so used to this like constant routine day after day after day, and when you finally have like the time to do anything else, you're like, dang, I'm so boring. Like, do I even have a personality anymore? I feel like almost brainwashed by work.
What are you gonna do now that you have all this time?
Well, I think I've been spending more time with my family. But honestly, one thing I'm really excited about is to get back into like hiking and going to the state parks. I used to be so into that, and it's just like disappeared from me entirely since I started, being more career oriented, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you have a lot of friends in this hometown?
No, I've never had a large friend group. But I do have really great close friends that are just a few, but really wonderful friends, and it just feels like a brand new chapter in life, and I feel super excited and really happy to be talking to you tonight, and everything
That's
just
good.
seems to be...
I gotta say, you sound, I can hear in your voice that you've been, dealing with incredibly emotional situations for 3 years. Like, I wanna throw an army blanket around you right now. You seem in complete shock just from talking to you. So I'm glad to hear that you're, moving on to hiking and stuff instead of, constantly having to be there while people go through some of the most awful times in their life. That sounds like a lot to deal with every single day. I was talking to somebody about this, and maybe you would have some interesting insight on it. I've read on the internet and talked to some people and whatever. I've heard stories of people who, like, they call the suicide hotline, and the person on the other end is like kind of cold or uncaring, or they're in some kind of a situation medically or some dire thing where like they're at a horrible time in their life, but the person working they're sort of apathetic to them. And I kind of get it a bit, because it's like, for them, it's like every single day, and a human being, as you know, can only handle so much empathy, So it's like, it's not surprising to me that these people, even though they're put in situations where their whole job is to deal with folks who are heavily distressed, it kind of makes sense to me that occasionally they would grow cold or uncaring or anything, not because they're rotten people, but just because it's I mean, like you were saying, it takes an incredible person to be able to do something like that,
Definitely, and shout out to those who are still doing it. I think my insight to that is that just from working in an environment like that, every single person that I worked with was so compassionate and empathetic towards the people who needed it. And even, between coworkers, we were really empathetic and compassionate towards each other. But speaking only for myself, and none of my other coworkers at the time, some of the stress, you just don't even know where to put it. And it is not an option to give it to the people you're serving. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you just kind of, and in my case, something I'm not proud of is definitely taking it out on the people you work with every single day, or being inappropriately snippy or just short with them. And I think that's how I handled it, which was not great.
I bet it would be a good idea to date an exterminator. Somebody who's just get all their aggression out on the job. So that way, it's all love when they get home.
100%. You're just taking out entire, species and from an area. You probably feel really powerful.
Right. They got to be happy people. What's your name again?
Karen.
Thanks for talking to me. I hope there's good things ahead on the horizon. Is there anything else you want to say to the people of the computer before we go, or to me, or to Mark, who's listening to this podcast right now?
I would just say be nice to each other as often as possible. And thank you so much for taking my call. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night.
Have a good night, Karen.
Bye.
Karen. That's you don't meet a lot of nice Karens. I don't have a joke. I don't have a Karen joke. And I don't want to have a Karen joke. Let's move on. Let's talk to another person.
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Oh my god, I'm actually on.
Who is this?
This is Tyler.
Tyler. You know what's so cool? It's cool to me that I've been doing this podcast for 3 years and there's still new people calling in. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, what happens when I literally just have talked to everyone who listens to this already?
Yeah, I've watched it from about a year now, actually. I went to your show in New York.
Oh shit! Well, at the Bell House,
Yes, yeah.
where those two twins arm wrestled.
Yes, yeah.
That was sweet. That was awesome. Are you coming back again? I won't be offended if you're not.
The Bell House sold out, but I'm gonna go to the one the next day.
Okay. Oh, sick. Tyler, you sent me a text and you said, I farted in a coworker's face because she annoys me, but after farting in her face, I've mellowed out and I don't hate her anymore.
Yeah, so I think, because I'm not gonna say which store I work at, but I work at a retail store. And there is this girl, I will not, I don't know what type of fake name I should give her. Let's just say H. So H, she is not the best employee. Like, everyone kind of like, comments on the fact that she's a bit scatterbrained. She messes stuff up. And when I first started working at that store, I had to fix certain things that she would mess up. And one day, we were in the break room. She was sitting in a chair. I was washing my hands, and I noticed my butt was at the perfect angle at her face where I was like, if I fart and leave, she's not going to notice. There's several other people in here. And I did that, and I left. And it's been, I think, about a year or two ever since I farted in her face, and honestly, I don't know. I am pretty, I don't mind her anymore. Or, she still hasn't improved as a worker, but I'm like, hey, how are you? Sometimes we chat, and it has gotten significantly better working with her.
There's something to that. I was on TikTok last night, and I saw a really beautiful video that I think this is related to your thing. It was one of these TikTok prankster kids who I really don't like a lot of those guys, but it was one of these TikTok prankster people, and he was like fucking with this old man, and the old man was like, if you do that again, if you call me that again, I'm gonna fuck you up. And so the kid the prank kid, he put up like a fighting stance, and the old man smacked him in the face, and then the kid punched the old man, and then they kind of like circle, but then they kind of like circle each other for a little bit, and then I swear to God, the old guy, he just looks at the prank kid and he goes, "Kid, what are we doing?" And the kid is like, you know what, you're right. And they put their hands down, and the old man is like, you actually got me pretty good. And the kid's like, you got me pretty good too, you can fight. And then they hugged, and that was it. And I was like, and by the way, I've watched a lot of fight videos on the internet, and that's the only one I think I've seen that ended like that. But it made me kind of, I'm not a big proponent of, I don't think you should hit people and stuff, but it just was kind of beautiful to see one time where, hitting people worked. And maybe there's something to that where you farted in your coworker's face, and that just got it out. I think it's missing the element of you got to let your coworker fart in your. If you let your coworker fart in your face, see, that's the thing. This is kind of what makes it different from that fight, is that it's only one-sided so far. If you let your coworker fart in your face, and then you just spend a little bit of time farting in each other's faces, that might solve everything. Because I don't know how she's feeling. Maybe has pent up shit again. She probably doesn't like you, but if she farted in your face, she would see that you're actually, pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But I'm also too tall for her to fart in my face, too. I think even sitting down, too tall to fart in my face.
Not in the teabag position.
Probably. She could probably do it if I was in that position, yeah.
Why does this person annoy you?
Because, like, in retail, you know, you're already getting paid so little. Customers are already, like, snapping at you for the smallest things. And then, like, repeatedly for, like, you know, like, maybe, like, 3 or 4 days a week, you know, you do something, that person, they purposely mess it up. And, like, in the store, we all, like, stock our own little sections. And maybe, like, a whole thing will be messed up. And they'll go to me and being like, why do you like this? And I'm just like, I saw H just restock it. Like, why are you talking to me about this? So, something like that.
I look, a job environment like that would make me want to fart in people's faces too. I get it. You had that fart. There was more in that fart than just fart chemicals. There was anger, resentment, frustration, and you farted it all out of your body onto this woman's face. And that's why you love her now.
Maybe the world's problems would be solved a bit more if people were just like, I'm not going to punch this guy, I'm not going to kick this kid. I'm just going to do one simple fart and I'm just going to walk away from the situation.
I agree with that. What's your name again?
It's Tyler.
Tyler. Well, Tyler, if you need me to referee a fart battle between you and this person, and you can hold it within a 10-minute walk of my house, let me know and I'll do it.
Okay, cool. I will definitely have a large can of beans. Before that, I will be prepared.
Thank you for calling, Tyler.
Thanks, Lover Podcast. Bye.